I'd like to talk to you for a minute about fear. And I'm not talking about, scared of spiders. I'm talking about the kind of fear that is cellularly deep, the kind of fear that is generations long. Um, there may be a lot of people that don't understand what I'm talking about because you've never actually been able to reach that. You're living at such a surface level fear that you've have yet to go to the point at which you understand the root of almost all of it. Um, but for those of you who have stayed this far, think about what fear causes you unexplainable, illogical fear. It can be some sort of paranoia, some sort of um, panic attack inducing type of a thing, um, a phobia, but the type of fear that is like you can't logic your way out of it. When we talk about dismantling trauma, that's one of the important things to look at is in what ways does your biology force you into certain narratives in your life because your ancestors were afraid of something. And I'm not talking about like running away from a tiger. I'm talking about socialized fear, usually. Um, so, like, for example, if you come from a long lineage of women who are, say, a little witchy, um, there might be a big fear there of being too wild, of being too out of control, of being perceived as too overtly independent. Um, for a man, I mean, there's lots of fear that men get instilled with throughout their lineage. But whether it's your maternal or paternal side, usually one is instilling you with kind of like a primary fear. Mine was and is a fear of visibility, of being seen, of being watched. Um, it's my deepest fear. And, I'm 10 months into posting online and a few panic attacks in, off camera, obviously. Um, but what that feels like to me and what that felt like to me is like this the panic attacks were based around don't do this. It just this overwhelming feeling of like, don't do this. Oh my God, don't do this. This is so dangerous to you. Please don't do this. And I think it's important to recognize when those types of feelings come up and using your now healed mind and your mind that can differentiate feelings from truth and being able to see and acknowledge and love and allow for that fear to come and go. The wind agrees. Um, but the idea of noticing it in yourself. I just did a reading the other day for somebody where I talked about a blockage that they were experiencing because it needed shadow work. It needed to be uncovered. It was a truth about themselves that they were unaware of. And they literally didn't understand what I was talking about. And that's okay. That means that, there's some more surface level work to be done before they see what I see, which is root causes of things. Because for me, I'm at the point in my journey where if I see something that doesn't fit in my life, that doesn't make sense, I just immediately go to the very root of it and suss it out. I don't, I'm not all that interested in fucking around too much anymore. I just kind of want to get to it, if you know what I mean. And so I think that that's worth noticing in yourself as well. What are the parts of yourself that even the thought of looking at it just immediately makes you clench, immediately causes you to say no? No, I don't get it. No, that's not me. No. Pause for a second and think about, are you saying no because you've trained yourself to say no because you've overlooked it so much? Is it quite literally a stain on the wall that's been there so long you don't even notice it anymore? I come from a long line of people who have suppressed themselves in such a way that has caused generational trauma. They didn't do it to be mean, they did it for survival. And so when I try and publish a book, be somebody on a podium and talking to people, which I do now, when I'm trying to post online, there's feelings inside of me that will lob every insecurity, every bad thing that I could possibly say about myself. It bubbles underneath, trying to get me to stop, trying to get me to submit, not because it's me being mean to myself. The meanness is a tool to try and get me to keep myself safe, because in generations past, this type of behavior that I'm exhibiting would have gotten me beaten, divorced, ostracized from my community, alienated from my finances, possibly killed, depending upon how far back we go. It seems benign, talking on here, but for a lot of people, there are fears that we carry, wounds that we carry, and we shelter them in our armor to protect ourselves from getting hurt by ourselves, but mostly by others. If your wound is around letting people into your heart, maybe your wound is around letting yourself into your own heart. Maybe you're so fiery and antagonistic that the thought of allowing yourself to be gentle and vulnerable and weak, even for just a moment, sends nausea into your throat and a feeling of absolute repulsion and wanting to run away through your spine. That's fear, and that's worth looking at. Even if you're not ready to confront it, it's good to know and just kind of be aware of it as you move through your life. Be aware that that's a motivating factor behind the way you react to things, behind the way you conduct yourself. What are you truly afraid of? And most of the time, the answer is yourself. So what about you? Are you truly afraid of? I love you.